Another game, another press conference for Ruben Amorim to navigate his way through all of the media tricky questions. Now, when United are winning, obviously them questions become easier, but we know in this press conference that we're going to get an update on Alejandro Garnacho because Ruben himself said that. We're also going to get questions regarding United's decision in particular, I feel, to leave Chido Obi out of the quarter-final of the FA Youth Cup tonight at the Emirates versus Arsenal. Now, that has been big because he's played in every round so far, and he isn't tonight in the biggest game of the tournament to date. So, what does that mean? Well, Nate Sol from the Daily Mail is saying that that's because he has got a great chance, and probably his best chance yet, of starting and maybe getting game time, whichever way you look at it, against Fulham this weekend. This is the press conference update. I'm Adam. It's Forever United TV. Welcome along. Hope you're having a fantastic lunchtime. The weekend is now officially here. Now we've cracked over into Friday afternoon. So get your comments in. Feel a little bit upbeat. United at home to Fulham this weekend. It is massive. It is huge. It is humongous, gigantic, whatever you want to call it, because this is an avenue back into the Europa League for Manchester United. And as we found out earlier on in the week, United's projections and financial figures, along with all of the cuts and sackings and people being let go of the club on the redundancies, is all in line with United staying in Europe. Where we go from there, if we're not in Europe, well, it's time to shiver down the spine and start to worry a little bit, I think. But United need to be in Europe. That is a staple and a must. We cannot be out of the Champions League 2 seasons in a row. That's bad on its own. Out of the Europa League as well and completely out of Europe. That's only ever happened once in the Premier League era. And that was after the debacle of, well, let's just call it the mismanagement and poor appointment of David Moyes, leading into Louis van Gaal's first season at the football club. Although, just for records and in terms of looking ahead, United did finish 4th that season, so with no European football, maybe it's a chance, some would say. But honestly, in terms of what United need in the transfer window this summer, we definitely need to be in Europe so we can offer at least something to these new signings and definitely find a way of making the deals happen because of that. Because without it, it's uphill all the way when it comes to transfers. So, FA Cup, massive. Fulham, tough game. Beat them twice already this season and haven't conceded a goal against them. Does that bode well for Manchester United? Yeah, it does. Last time we played them in the FA Cup, we also beat them. Remember that game? Willian and Mitrovic both being sent off. Silva being sent off as well. Remember that carnage? I think it was very similar stage. I think it might have actually been quarterfinals, actually, we played Fulham last time in the FA Cup. When it came down to the round we actually played in. But it was Erik ten Hag's first season, and United played Fulham. Mitrovic had a meltdown. I remember it when he went right up to the ref. But yeah, United's record against Fulham, obviously, last season we lost to Fulham. That was a disaster in the league. We've beaten them once already this season at Old Trafford, and obviously twice in the league as well. Not too long ago with that 25-yard screamer with a deflection for Lisandro Martinez. Now no longer in the side, of course, through injury. So a lot's changed, and I think David Silva will be out. Marco Silva, will be out for revenge. And he knows how to beat United. He's got a team to beat United. And if we do play like we did against Ipswich, against Fulham, it will be a lot more of a more difficult game, to say the least anyway. But yeah, the main story to come out, and before we get into Ruben's quotes, which are coming in less than 8-minute time, is Chido Obi, as he likes to be called now. He is out of the FA Youth Cup squad. Questions are, what are we looking at right now? Are we bringing Obi in? Does he start? Does he start against Fulham? Does he start ahead of Rasmus Højlund? Talk to me, everybody. Get into the chat and let me know what you think about that. First of all, in terms of his position in the first team, is it going to be through the starting lineup, or is he going to be off the bench? What best suits Chido Obi? Get into the comments section and let me know what you think. Let's get into some more of your comments straight away. Just in other news as well, don't forget we have got the show tonight as well. Don't forget that is coming also, where we were looking ahead to the match weekend, and obviously we'll be looking into our match sponsor as well, Match Bingo. So don't forget, if you haven't already, download QR code bottom right hand corner of your screen right now, everybody. More details in the show later on this evening as well. But Manchester United, did you hear about this one? Manchester United wants to create an algorithm to help to help predict injuries with new signings. United have approached the University of Manchester to see if any students or staff have the skill set to develop an algorithm as part of their data overhaul. Too much. Seriously? I don't see how that's going to help, man. Obviously, do everything you possibly can. Don't leave any stone left unturned and all of that jazz, but no. I don't think so. I really don't think so. But hey, look, let me know. Should Chido Obi start against Fulham on Sunday? That's the question I'm asking the chat straight from the off. Let me know. Actually, you know what? I'm going to just create a poll on this right now. Bear with me 1 second. Let's get your comments in on this, obviously, first of all. But I'm just going to put a poll up now, just to see where you're all at. Is it the right game? I mean, you would say normally when you've got players coming in, would you say the FA Cup, the League Cup, games like this are usually in yesteryear the right time to blood youth players in, bring them in, give them a little bit of a taste for first team football. That was usually the time when you would do it, but it's changed, hasn't it? Times have changed, and United are a little bit more desperate now, and I feel like because this game is so huge, I don't think he's going to risk him from the start, Ruben Amorim. I really don't. Be interesting if someone does actually ask that question, though. If one of the members of the media do ask Ruben Amorim on the decision by Manchester United to leave Chido Obi out of that FA Youth Cup side against Arsenal tonight. Interesting, very interesting. He needs to be playing games. He's not playing or featuring much at the moment because he's sat on Manchester United's bench. And we don't want him to just rot away on the United bench because we feel it isn't the right time. If he's in the matchday squad, he has to be used. Otherwise, he's going to drop off and form will deteriorate and we won't get the best out of him. If he's on the bench, he has to be ready. It's as simple as that. We cannot be using the bench just to give people experience now and kids experience from Manchester United's academy. If he's there, he needs to start playing. He needs to be getting on that pitch. Otherwise, we're going to end up ruining his development. It's all right training, it's great, but you need matches. And at the moment, he's not playing for the 21s or the under-18s because he's constantly on the bench for Manchester United. Obviously, the game against Ipswich was kind of taken away from him because clearly he wasn't getting on because United had to sacrifice for the red card of Patrick Dorgu. So when we look at that, so by the way, Patrick Dorgu will be available for the Europa League for anyone asking. That is a certain. The suspension only counts for domestic football. So Dorgu will be an absentee on Sunday for United. That's his first game of his 3-match ban. He will be available on Thursday evening against Real Sociedad in the first leg of the round of 16 title for the Europa League. So he's available for that at least. But obviously, Dorgu was sent off. Chido is never going to get on at that point. He was back to the wall for Manchester United. So that explained that. He got a little bit of game time against Everton, 20 minutes. So you would hope that he just generally moved on. Maybe he gets half an hour against Fulham in front of the Old Trafford crowd for the first time. Let's see. I think he will get minutes. It's whether or not. I mean, to be fair, it was kind of desperate against Everton, wasn't it, for Ruben Amorim, and he put him on then. So I don't think he's necessarily looking, and we've seen form for him actually throwing him in at the deep end, which was Goodison Park. Chips are down, United are losing. We're about to lose another game, and Chido actually comes on. So honestly, right now I'm looking at the Fulham game, and I'm going, right, if he's going to risk him in a Premier League game, he's definitely got a chance at home against Fulham as well in the FA Cup. I think we'll see considerable game time for Robbie this weekend. I really do hope that he does get a chance at Old Trafford as well. Because let's not forget, his 2 appearances so far have been away while losing to Spurs and then away while losing to Everton. It would be nice if the first team could do their job and actually be in front in a game, and then we bring on an academy player to try and integrate him a little bit smoother. That's just my point from that one. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him. I do think he will come on. And all the noises going around are that he will actually get game time this weekend. Whether or not he starts, that's a question I think will come. And we're about to get the answers to it. Less than 5 minutes till Ruben Amorim's press conference quotes come out, everybody. He has already had the press conference, as we know, but the embargo is out there until 1:30 for round 1 of the press conference. Part 2 will probably come tomorrow evening / Sunday morning. I think with it being the FA Cup, 4:30 kickoff, I think we're going to get the usual Sunday papers in on the press conference, and they'll get their piece of flesh from Ruben Amorim, and all of their stories will be out on Sunday morning, which will give us plenty to talk about on match day again. So yeah, realistically, I think general sort of stuff coming out first of all this afternoon. I think we will get that update on Garnacho. We'll hopefully get updates on Chido Obi. And then, well, let's see. Is anyone else going to be fit? Is Toby Collier back? How quickly can we see him back? Is he going to be back in the fold? Possibly. We'll see. But there wouldn't have been many people training this week, obviously, because United bust a gut in getting that 3 points against Ipswich on Wednesday. So maybe there has been some light training today for the players, but it will be recovery mode for the rest of the week after that Ipswich game. So, yeah, I feel like that's what we're going to be in for today with the press conference. Tomo in Thailand. If anyone wants to watch the Arsenal United Cup match tonight, I think it's live on YouTube channel Emirates FA Cup. Yeah, I think it's a good shout, Tomo, actually. Thank you for that. If anyone does want to watch the likes of Biancari, maybe Ibrahimov, Scanlon, players like this, absolute Kamasin at right back as well. Brilliant players. If you get a chance to watch it, definitely. If he has a bad game, supporters will be saying he's no good. Sell him, no patience in our fan base. I don't think so, Paul. I think the fan base will be totally fine and understanding with Chido coming through. Nobody expects him to do anything in this absolute shit show of a first team at the moment. Don't do this. So I think that's where we're at with it anyway. Look, Colts are coming out. Any moment now, we're going to kickstart the press conference, everybody. Let's get a few more comments in quickly, first of all. Hi, Adam. Chido Obi is more versatile and can play in multiple attacking positions. In an ideal world, I would be reluctant to start him. He is 17 and should be integrated and build minutes. Let's see. Let's see if he does do that. Andrew Shaw gifting 5 memberships on the midday show. Thank you, Andrew. He is in good spirits, and that to me tells me that Andrew is thinking of a United win this weekend. I can just tell from his mood in dropping them in there. Thank you, Andrew. Really appreciate that, mate. Obi is a kid, and as a kid can play every day. He will not start against Fulham, so I think it is a mistake not playing him in the youth game against Arsenal. It could derail the youth team's progress. This is the point I was making. I think he will get significant minutes, though. I think we're looking maybe another 20-30 minutes for Chido against Fulham. And that, I think, is necessary. Like, if he's not going to start, he at least has to feature, I feel. And I think United have made a decision on this, because United would have thought, you know what, is he going to get on the pitch against Fulham? Is it going to happen? And if they feel like it wasn't, they wouldn't have brought him. And that ultimately is where the decision has been made for Chido to not be in that FA Youth Cup squad. And it is going to be about basically giving him game time in the United first team. It has to be. Sorry, something just fell over in the other side of my room there. Right, Ruben Amorim is talking and basically around that question I just asked, will anyone else be available, i.e. Toby Collier, because he was the only one. That question has already been asked, and it has been swiftly answered by Ruben in that no, nobody different is back. They are still trying to recover to help us in the next games. Job done. That's Ruben's first one. There are rumours that Victor Lindelof might actually feature in the game this weekend, though. Obviously, last time he played was that I think it was the Spurs game, wasn't it? The quarter-final? I'm sure it was that, the League Cup game. But yeah, obviously he went crashing down in that game. Again, massive letdown in terms of injuries, Victor Lindelof. But apparently he's going to feature the Joys. And we should see Lindelof getting game time this weekend. That's another rumour that has been going around, that's all. Amorim on Garnacho walking down the tunnel versus Ipswich. Here we go. Here's that update on the quote. Let's just see what he says. He came to me It was funny because he came to my office. I did an investigation, went to the dressing room to change his clothes because they were wet. He watched the game from somewhere different from the bench. There is no issue. I told him perception is important. He will pay for dinner for all the team. Okay. Amorim, I don't know if that's tongue-in-cheek and joking around there, but yeah, he's punishing Garnacho by paying for dinner for the rest of the team. That's nice. Thanks, boss. But yeah, that there, perception is important from Ruben Amorim, that comment there. He didn't know what was happening, and I think that's the point he's trying to make. The fact that Garnacho did go to Ruben Amorim, though, tells you there is no issue at all in this, which is good. And we move forward swiftly. Job done. Everything has been cut off, and it's bring on Fulham. I think that there is how I expected it to be resolved. I don't think there is. And I think Garnacho obviously feels like he should be playing more. He's a bit knocked off because he got brought off. He could have impacted the game. He's playing a team that is lower down the league. He might have thought he could have got his numbers up and he got a little bit miffed off. Everybody gets knocked off when they get brought off the pitch. Nobody likes to be subbed off. It's just natural. And this one was blown up a little bit. I said it on the night. I thought something would have been said and that's why he went down the tunnel. I can't see him storming off Ronaldo style. That would have been the end of him, I feel. But yeah, let's just see. Amorim has commented on Roy Keane's. Now, if you remember, Roy Keane is one of Amorim's heroes from Manchester United and what one player he actually looks up to. So this should be interesting. I heard about that and I have a different opinion. Bruno is really important for us. He is playing well in different contexts. I know as a captain, he can do things with his arms. I like Ruben Amorim, I really do. He has had a lot of frustration for this year and the last years. He wants to win, and it is hard to deal with that situation. Roy Keane has big standards from his time. I have an opposite opinion as I am the coach. Oh, well, I think that is just rather suave and well dealt with there by Ruben, is it not? I think he has just pretty much just poured cold water over everything that could have possibly been brought up from the press conference so far today. Recruitment plans this summer. Oh, here we go. Ruben, on that subject, we need to make some deals to make some deals. Okay, cracking line again. We know the situation. We are changing a lot of things in our squad and the academy. We are working on a lot of things. We are preparing for the next season for sure. Already work on the way. Like I've alluded to on plenty of my shows before. Obviously, we are doing business now. We're making things happen early doors, so when the window opens, we can get on with it as quickly as possible. And I think that's what Ruben Amorim has been alluding to there again. But we need to make deals to make some deals. Basically, sell to buy is what he's saying right there. So, again, like we knew before, why the question has come up, I don't know. But interesting to see how that response, or why that response has come out from Ruben Amorim in terms of the recruitment side of things. Because we only asked that question the other day in the last press conference. Unless it's someone new. And like we said, the Sunday papers could be there as well, in terms of what's being asked, ready for the weekend's reports and the weekend's articles. So that might have been from them. But that has already been asked, that question at weekend. Amorim on Dorgu. It is like business as usual. Of course, you don't want him sent off because it is hard to play with 10 men and we lose him for 3 games. Everything at United is a big issue. I don't need to say anything to him. He is frustrated. He is frustrated and sad, but he is working towards the next games. He's going to be a very important player for us going forward. So, yeah, I think Ruben pretty much on that. Here's an interesting one. Andre Onana. I can't wait to hear what he's got to say about this. He did some great saves that save our team and sometimes have some problems, but that is normal. I think if you look at our team, you can find a lot of players with that issue. People talk about the second goal from Ipswich. He is waiting for the touch off the lap. That can happen. We just have to support Andre. We need to forget about the past and prepare for the future. as you'd expect a manager to play, to respond to an absolutely disgusting performance again from Andre Onana. I'm not letting him off the hook. I'm really not. And I really don't care what Amorim says there. For me, I still think he's getting rid of him in the summer because he is going to blow everything up. And he's the reason why we are losing points at the moment. Yeah, the team isn't performing well, but we could have definitely saved a lot more points if Onana's doing the basics. And other players are being dropped out of this team for not doing the basics and not doing their jobs. So, I honestly, I still believe that he's saying the right things there just to keep his squad together. But as soon as Bayindir comes back in, see you later. Down to the bench goes Andre Onana. It has to be. More from Amorim on Garnacho. He is a young kid that will learn. The important thing is that in the next morning he was speaking with me. Xerxes did the same thing, walking down the tunnel, but the context was different. We can deal with that. Let's just move on. I think again someone else is trying to get more of a story out of the Garnacho situation and going in there asking the question again, just to see if you get a different response. He's come back again. They've dealt with it, and we move on. And that's it. He has been asked about the impact of social media, though, which is probably the right question to ask, to be honest. I think it's completely different for players nowadays. Before, it was 2 newspapers and nothing more. 2 newspapers. He's not been in England then for a while. Or he's not been in England in the early days because it was more than bleeding 2. My God. Now you cannot go on social media without seeing the news or a photo. You can have 100 good things and then 1 bad thing, and people focus on 1 bad thing. Yep, that is true. They need to help. They need help to deal with that. It is modern football, and they have to be prepared for that. Yep, again, Ruben Amorim pretty much nailing that question there. He's right in what he says. It is just modern day football. You have to deal with the adversity. You have to deal with the negative side of things as well, which is social media in a nutshell, because it's like the old review process, isn't it? For instance, when you're looking at a holiday, you're going to look at a hotel, you go through the reviews, you only pick out the bad one. You don't care for the good ones. You want to see the bad one. You naturally go to the negative. Negativity spreads a lot quicker than positivity. That's a fact. It's just the way that we're built. And 1 negative comment needs 10 good ones to outweigh it. It shouldn't be that way, but it is. And that, unfortunately, is what we're dealing with these players right now. Everybody's looking at the negatives because things are not going right. When there's problems, they dig more. And I think that they're finding a lot more to talk about and a few more problems that necessarily are worth bringing up, if you get what I mean by that. I disagree about starting Obi Martin. It's too much pressure for a young lad in front of 76,000 in the home cup tie. Let him come off the bench. Liaf says, if you are thinking L10 or R10, I would, in terms of left-hand side 10 and left-hand side and right-hand side 10, I would have chosen Cunha and Mbeumo over Bruno Fernandes every single time. They weren't really around when Bruno came in, though, mate, so you can't compare them, Lief, to be honest. Real Recognize Real says, how so? Oh, someone talking to someone else, sorry. Keep your conversations going, everybody. Sorry if I butt in and try and jump in. No, what Amorim wants to say is, I can't wait until Bayindir is back in the team because this guy is next to useless. I think so too, Mr. Dacia Sandero. Flash Talks with the Super Chat. Cheers, buddy. I've got an awful feeling that we are going out of the cup. Oh, don't say that, mate. We can't have that. We can't have the negative thoughts. Yeah. In terms of everything Ruben Amorim said in that first part of the press conference, that basically is that. He talked on social media on Garnacho, over injuries, over Andre Onana, and Roy Keane's comments on Bruno Fernandes. He's come to the defence of all of his players, as you'd expect a coach to do. So don't take it lightly. Interesting things to take from that are that Manchester United, again, need to make some deals selling to buying. And that, I feel, is where we're at with it in terms of the future and the recruitment, because that question was asked. Andrew asked, how long is Bayindir out for? He is back in training, mate, so I don't think it's too long before we may have the opportunity to see Altay Bayindir again in goal. We have a poll running right now as well in the chat. Start Obi against Fulham, yes or no? 77% of you actually have said yes, start Obi against Fulham. Plenty of people had enough of Rasmus Højlund, it would seem, on that one. Ed says, all things aside, I feel there has been a positive shift in the squad. The last 20 mins against Everton and up until the sending off against Ipswich, we played with confidence, intensity and structure. Yeah, I can see it. Bigger fish to fry, and can we continue that, I think, is the question on every single Man United's lips right now against the bigger teams. I think that's where it is, isn't it? Like, let's see what happens from there. But Ruben seems upbeat. Ruben seems... obviously, it happens when you get a win. Everything seems to be calmer. And if United back up the Ipswich win with a win against Fulham this weekend, going into a huge week against Sociedad and Arsenal, wow. We have then got... So, if you get the win against Fulham, just win. Get the win, get into the quarter-final. It will just give the club and everything around the club a bit of a boost. Then you've got Sociedad, Arsenal, Sociedad, Leicester, international break. We have now got 5 humongous games and 2 weeks of absolute bedlam for Ruben Amorim and this Man United side to navigate. Hopefully we'll have Collier back in as well within that time. But them 5 games will determine Manchester United's whole season. Because Sociedad, who only got beat 1-0 by Real Madrid, that's that absolute Harlem Globetrotting Real Madrid that smashed Manchester City. Yeah, a few changes probably in their team, but if you're only getting beat 1-0 by Real Madrid, you're not too bad an outfit. Even though the table doesn't really look like Sociedad are having a good season, it's a dangerous tie for Manchester United. A very, very dangerous tie. The only good thing is we've got a good record over there. I think we've won the last 2 times we've played Sociedad over in Spain. So that, I feel, is an important thing to take from it as well. But Fulham, obviously on Sunday, FA Cup, chance to get in the Europa League. Then Sociedad, then 2 huge league games against Arsenal and Leicester. It's too much for me to ask to win all of them games, but really we should be asking to win all of them games. Manchester United can win every single one of them games, and I will be expecting United to put up a fight in all of them. Arsenal look dejected. Arsenal look like they have lost their way completely with no strikers, and if there's a good time to play them, it's probably now. So if we beat Fulham and we beat Sociedad, we then go into that Arsenal game full of confidence off the back of 3 wins. Can we beat Fulham? Yes, we've done it twice already this season. Can we beat Sociedad? Yes, we can. We're unbeaten in Europe. We have to be confident going into these next 2 games. And that will give us that belief then going into the Arsenal game. And I think that's what's important. Going into the Arsenal game with confidence that you can beat a big team. We've already taken points off Liverpool and Manchester City. We can do it against Arsenal. We've beaten them on their own turf as well this season. They have to go into that game believing that they can win. I feel 2 wins against Fulham and Sociedad, giving them the confidence that they have got something to play for this season still. Going into the Arsenal game changes everything. It really does. But yeah, that's what I feel. The biggest thing, like I said, to come from the Ruben Amorim press conference, no one's touched on Chido Obi in the part 1. That question might have been asked, and we may find out a little bit more going into tomorrow and possibly Sunday morning with the embargoed version of the press conference being released. I'll try and find out when them quotes are coming out, and we'll take it from there. But yeah, that pretty much is all of Ruben Amorim's press conference there and everything. Just quickly on your comments as well. Let's get through a few of these before we finish up. Let's see there. Real Sociedad is a bang average. Why are we hyping that team up? Because they just got beat 1-0 by Madrid, and we've had tough games against them before. The season, 2 seasons ago, it was a 1-0 win either way. And United should be beating them. We're not hyping them up. We're just saying it's a tough game because every game's a tough game for Manchester United. Stephen Maguire says that these players will never give the club a lift. Only thing that they're lifting is money. Simon, I said start Obi in the hope that's not only does he perform, but he gives Rasmus a chance to come on with 20-30 to go and fresh legs and try and score to rebuild his confidence. Rasmus off the bench, last time he came off the bench for United was the last time he scored was when he came off the bench for United and scored 2 goals in Victoria Pilsen in that game in Romania. So that maybe there's something to look into as well with that. But yeah, that is it, everybody. That is your press conference roundup, all summed up in one. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. All the quotes are there. Let's watch the show back. Get your comments in below on anything that Ruben has said so I can read through them. We will be back with another video later on this evening as well. Normal time, as usual, 6:30 for you all to get your teeth into. There's plenty of stuff going on. A bit of a special as well this evening in terms of news and what's happening around Old Trafford. But for now, the press conference is done, and that is Ruben all saying everything. Give this video a like on the way out, everyone. Make sure that you have subscribed to Forever United TV, and I'll see you later on this evening. Have a good one, everyone. Friday afternoon is here. You should be